Hello children. Today we will be doing chapter 11, Natural Disasters. You must have heard about earthquakes, cyclones, volcanoes, tsunamis, floods, droughts. These are all natural disasters. These take place when the earth's pressure is high and the earth, inside the earth, it starts moving. Then this is caused. So this is known as natural disasters because it's a natural event. It is also known as the natural calamities. Now let us see, children, what are natural disasters in details. Natural disasters are the natural events that cause great damage or loss of life. These are caused by the movements inside the earth as well as on its surface. So we will underline from here what are natural disasters. I am making a bracket, you underline till this place. Okay. I am trying to make a line, straight line. Okay. Now is earthquake. What is an earthquake? An earthquake is a shaking of ground caused by the movement of the earth's crust. This is an earthquake. Please underline. Some earthquakes can be of high magnitude while some can be mild. The earthquakes of high magnitude cause huge damage to life and properties. They uproot the trees and collapse bridges and create big rifts on the earth's surface. Now children, what are rifts? Rifts are the places where the earth surface go down. Okay, and there are two highlands on the sides and the earth's surface goes down. It is exactly like a drain. Now again children, you all will underline. The earth is made up of layers. So underline from here. The earth is made up of layers. It has been compared with an onion. If you cut an onion, you will see that the earth is exactly like that. There are layers. You must have seen on an onion that there are layers. Similarly, they have compared the earth with the onion. The earth is made up of layers much like an onion. The outer layer of the earth is the crust. So again underline. Which is not one continuous layer but made up of smaller pieces, just like the pieces of puzzle. These pieces of the crust are called tectonic plates. Now what are tectonic plates? You can underline from here, layers with smaller pieces. These pieces of crust are called tectonic plates. Okay? They float on the molten matter present inside the earth. Sometimes the floating tectonic plates collide or brush with each other and produce vibration or tremors that spread just like ripples in the pond. These tremors cause earthquake. Okay, now children, how the earthquake is occurring? Take for an example, 2 ice cubes in 1 glass of water. And if you play with the water, you will see that the 2 ice cubes are floating. Okay, when the 2 ice cubes float and sometimes they touch each other or they bang against each other. Similarly, the tectonic plates also exactly like that, it touches each other or it bangs with each other, and when it happens, then there is an earthquake. Okay. And where does this take place? This takes place at the origin of the earthquake. The place of the origin of an earthquake is called the focus. So we will underline from here, the place of the origin is called the focus. Okay. The epicenter is the place directly above the focus on the earth's surface. Also we will underline this place. What is an epicenter? Epicenter is the place directly above from the earth's surface. Now here we have a diagram. This is the focus. This place is the focus where the earthquake is originating from, and this is the epicenter, and these are the tectonic plates. Okay. An instrument called seismograph measures the forces of and duration of the earthquake. The magnitude of an earthquake is measured on Richter scale. Now the safety measures. What kind of safety measures are to be taken when there is an earthquake? Safety measures: come out of the vehicle and stand in an open space. Do not use any electrical gadgets, matchstick or lighters. If indoors, crawl under the strong bed or table that can protect you from falling rubbles. Children, when there is an earthquake, if you go under the table and if the ceiling is falling, the top of the table is going to save you, because all the rubbles will be falling on the top of the table and you will be underneath. In earthquake prone zones, building should be constructed using wood and other light materials that can withstand earthquakes. Try to stay in open and avoid going near high-rise buildings, electric poles and vehicles. Volcanoes. Now what are volcanoes? The earth is filled with hot molten liquid called magma or molten rocks. At some places the magma comes out through the earth's crust. This is called a volcanic eruption. Now what is a volcanoic eruption? When the magma comes out through the earth's crust. This is called the volcanic eruption. So we will underline over here. And what is a magma? A magma is a hot molten liquid which is inside the earth or molten rocks. Okay. A volcano is a mountain from which hot molten rock, gas, steam and ash form from inside the earth sometimes burst. Magma comes out of the earth's surface is called lava. The flowing lava is very hot and destroys everything in its way. Now children, underline this. What is a volcano? A volcano is a mountain from which the hot molten rock is coming out, which is the magma, which is known as the magma. When it is inside the earth, it is known as the magma. When it comes out of the crater, that is the mouth of the mountain, and it happens on the peak, when it comes out of the mountain, that time it is known as the lava. I'll just try to draw a diagram over here. Suppose this is your mountain and here the magma is. It comes out like this, and when it flows out, it is known as the lava. But when it is inside this portion, it goes like this, children. These are all known as vents. And when it is inside the earth's surface, it is known as magma. And when it flows out like this, it is known as lava. So always remember this. The flowing lava is very hot and destroys everything on its way. Now, as I showed you, like when it is coming out of the mountain, when it is falling out of the mountain, it is rolling down the path, right? When it is rolling down, this hot molten rock which is rolling down, if there is a car or a bus, whatever, it is burning them. So whatever it is saying over here, the flowing lava is very hot and destroys everything in its way, and it destroys because it burns it off. The trees which are over here, it burns. Okay. Now the safety measures which are to be taken. Watch or listen to news to get updates and suggestions. Keep goggles, mask, flashlights and a battery operated radio in an emergency kit. Now what is a flashlight, children? It is a torch, a powerful torch. And why are they saying to wear a goggles? Because the hot molten rock which comes out, it produces heat. Plus it's got a typical, it looks like the sun. As we cannot see on the sun, similarly we will not be able to see the volcano. So that's why they are saying wear a goggles. Now the evacuation rule. To keep enough fuel in the car. Before leaving the house, wear clothes that cover your whole body. Wear an emergency mask or hold a damp cloth over your face. Why a damp cloth? Because when you breathe, so that the dust doesn't come, the hot dust will not hit your face. If you are not evacuating, close the windows and doors and block chimney to prevent ash from coming into the house. Over here, the fact quests. Most of the volcanoes of the world can be found in the Pacific Ocean region. This is why this region is also known as Pacific Ring of Fire. So you can always underline why is Pacific Ocean known as the Pacific Ring of Fire. So this is your answer. Floods. Whenever there is too much of rainfall, the water level rises and the excess water flows into the surrounding areas and cause damage to properties. So let us read. Flood. Whenever there is too much of rainfall, the water level of rivers rises and excess water flows into the surrounding areas, causing damage to life and property. This is known as flood. So we underline over here from whenever to flood. Crops get destroyed during floods. During and after a flood, people face severe scarcity of drinking water and medical aid and are exposed to diseases like jaundice, cholera, malaria and dengue. So the diseases are jaundice, cholera, malaria and dengue. Why do they face the crisis of water, children? Because the water, the pure drinking water, is then mixed up with the dirty water which occurs during the flood. Okay, now the safety measures. Safety measures. If you live in a flood prone region, be on alert during monsoons. If your house is flooded, switch off all electrical appliances to avoid getting an electrical shock. Move to a higher ground as soon as possible. Keep an emergency kit ready. It should include things like a radio, batteries, torch, first aid kit, food and fresh water and some money. The kit should also have waterproof bags where you can pack your clothes and food. Then comes a tsunami. Now, what are tsunamis, children? Let us read. A tsunami is a huge ocean wave or series of huge waves that has destructive effects. That has destructive after effects. These are also known as tidal waves. So we can underline from here a tsunami till the tidal waves. Once again, I'll read it for you. A tsunami is a huge ocean wave or series of huge waves that has destructive after effects. These are known as tidal waves. One major causes of a tsunami is an underwater volcanic eruption or an undersea earthquake. Now we will underline this portion. Why? Because we can say how it occurs. How does tsunami take place? Why? Because if either by an underwater volcanic eruption or an undersea earthquake. Waves of massive force lash the coastal areas, causing damage to life and properties. It is really hard to predict a tsunami. An emergency kit is of utmost importance in case of a tsunami. The precautions to be taken in this case are similar to the precautions we take during flood. Now children, there is a diagram. Over here it says the tsunami hits the coast, the epicenter of the earthquake. See over here, this portion they are showing that there is an earthquake, and over here also. So this goes down and this hits over here. Now what happens is that after the hitting, the water rises, and you see over here the water rising above the building over here. Understood? So that is a tsunami. You get huge waves. Safety measures. In case a tsunami warning has been issued, we should immediately evacuate and get to higher ground. The seashore should be evacuated immediately. People living in the coastal areas should not go back to their homes until the authorities declare it to be safe. Now, droughts. What are droughts? Children, if there is no rain at all or very less rain, then the land gets dried up, and when after it gets dried up, it looks like this. Okay, so in this we cannot grow crops. Okay, now let us see what are droughts. Droughts. Droughts are long periods of scanty rainfalls which lead to scarcity of water. In countries like India, where agriculture is the main occupation, farmers depend completely on rainfall. No rainfall or scanty rainfall leads to famine or shortage of food. Quite obvious, children, if there is no rainfall, then the farmers will not be able to cultivate the crops. They will say no to agriculture, and if it is no to agriculture, then there is no crops. So that is known as famine. So let us underline from here, no rainfall or scanty rainfall leads to famine, shortage of food crops. Okay? And over here also we will underline water droughts. Droughts are long periods of scanty rainfall which leads to scarcity of water. This is drought. So again I am repeating. No rainfall or scanty rainfall leads to famine or shortage of food. As enough water through rainfall is not available, the crops die. The land loses its fertility and become very dry. So, what are the after effects of drought? One is that there is famine, shortage of water, and the crops also dies, and the land loses fertility and becomes very dry. One can feel the effect almost immediately. Drought causes food shortage and can lead to destruction of livelihood of farmers. And what are the safety measures, children? Reservoirs should be built to store water. Reservoirs means it's like a swimming pool, more bigger than that. It's deeper. It's like a tanks. Like a water tank, it's known as a reservoir. Rainwater should be harvested. When there is excessive rain, then we should store that water. One should grow crops that are resistant to drought, like sorghum, maize, and millets. These crops, they need less water. That's why we should grow these kind of crops, and it is known as resistant to drought. Means crops which are resistant to drought, means they need less water. Eco-feast. Deforestation reduces the soil's ability to hold water and can sometimes cause drought. This is also one big reason for drought. Okay, there are few more points for these safety measures. Farmers can spray water directly to the base of the plant or crops. This will make sure that less water is used. Children, what it is saying is that like we garden our, when we water our garden, in the garden when we pour the water to our plants, it is saying something like that. Irrigation facility needed to be improved. This has proved to be successful in states like Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. Okay children, so we keep it till here. In the next class we will be doing cyclones, and I think we will be completing the rest of the chapter. Thank you so much. Take care.